I'm going to tie a CDC soft hackle caddis emerger, starting off with a size 12 scud hook and a 7/64 tungsten bead in black. I'll add some additional weight to this, so 8 to 10 wraps of my lead, and then I'll push that into the bead to seat it, and then come back and make sure it stays put with my thread. I'm going to use an 8/0 black for that. I'll start behind it, wrap up through, and once it's secure, I'll trim that tag. The back of this pattern is going to be a pheasant tail, so I'll take a 6 to 8 fibers. I'm going to trim the tips even just so that I've got a consistent tie-in point, and I'll tie that in behind the lead and on top of the hook shank. Wrap it down and back up, and now I can add in my rib, and for that I'm going to use a small gold wire. Tie that in again behind the lead and down as far as I did the pheasant tail. So now for the body is going to be an ice dub in a caddis green, and I won't add too much volume to this. Keep the fly relatively slim, and I'll be sure to leave enough room behind the bead to tie in a thorax as well as the CDC. One more pinch. And now I can bring my pheasant tail up, so I'll pull it straight up and over with my left hand. I'm just pinching it together to keep the fibers in place. I'll take a couple of wraps to secure it, and then again I can pull it tight and make sure it stays on top. Now when I bring my rib through, what I like to do is make sure I get past the pheasant tail before I pull it down. So a soft wrap until I get past, and then I really pull it straight down. And this does a couple of things. It makes sure that the pheasant tail doesn't get shifted by the torque you apply on the thread, and it also bites down nicely into that dubbing to give you a nice segmented look. So when I get to my thread, I'll remove it along with the CDC, or along with the pheasant tail, and then I'll dub just a small thorax, and I'm going to do that with a peacock ice dub. So in front of the CDC and behind, I'm going to have this ice dub, so I want to put in a band here, tie in the CDC, and then a band in front. So I've got my CDC. I'm going to remove a bit from the stem so that I've got a good amount to tie in. I'll tie that in on top. And remove that bit of a stem. And now I can come in with my hackle pliers and grab the tip I want to make sure I get enough of the meat of the tip, but also not bind down too many of the fibers. I'll pull these back towards the tail of the pattern. I'll take as many wraps as it'll give me, and then I'll tie it off. I can remove that stem. Now you've got an opportunity to situate these fibers a little bit more. So I'll hold them in place and take a couple of turns so that they get where you want them. And now with the peacock ice dub again, I'll put on just a small band behind that bead. And then whip finish. And remove. And that is a CDC soft hackle caddis emerger.